And I think it's 59 to 75 odd. Just as a reminder, how do we do a linear system using a matrix? Oh, 782. Sorry. 782. Well, you could do it by hand, but I'm going to let you do the story problems with the calculator. So if we had 2x, I'm just going to work one with a calculator. Oh, never mind. That one's not what I want. 6x minus 3y equals negative 15. And 7x plus 2y equals negative 12. If you want to use a matrix, your matrix button is right above the x to the negative 1 button. Wait, am I recording? I am. Good. Second matrix. And then we need to go over to edit. How big is this matrix? 2 by 3. So 2, enter, 3, enter. And then I just put the coefficients in. 6, negative 3, negative 15. Oh, look at that. How about a 2 by 3? There we go. Thanks. 7, 2, and negative 12. No. Okay, I have the matrix entered. Now I need to exit, because if I find RREF right now, it will put the RREF inside the matrix, which is like defining a word using itself. So second, quit. And then we go back into matrix, second matrix, and we go over to math. And up is actually faster. We want to go to RREF. REF will work sometimes, but most of the time it won't. RREF will work every time. Well, that's really a good question. I don't know. Row echelon form has certain purposes, but reduced row echelon form fills the same purpose and more, so I don't know. And then go back into matrix, and apparently I called this matrix B. I don't know why. And I end up with this. You need to write the answer matrix, 1, 0, negative 2, 0, 1, 1, and then you need to interpret it. What is that saying? It says that x is negative 2 and y is 1. So negative 2 comma 1. Okay. What if we have, what happens when we have infinite solutions? What will you see? The bottom row will be all zeros. What if you have no solution? Nope, the bottom row will be 0, 0, 1. So if your bottom row is 0, 0, 1, that means infinite or no solutions, because 0x plus 0y cannot equal 1. And then if that bottom row is all zeros, that would be infinite solutions, because 0 equals 0. And the stuff in the top doesn't really matter. For infinite solutions, the stuff in the top tells you the equation of the line, but for no solutions, it kind of tells you one of the two lines. Okay, so the way we did that, we went into second matrix, and we went over to edit, and then you just pick a matrix. You enter its size, which in this case is 2 by 3. You enter the numbers. Yeah, so this only works if the x's and y's and answers are all lined up. It doesn't, whatever you put first, the answer will put first. So you could have your x's and y's switched, but then your answer will just be yx. So there's no point in doing that. Okay. And then you exit out. second quit, and then go back into matrix, and then go to math, and up from the bottom, you get RREF, and then second matrix, and then choose the matrix you want. So in this case, my answers are negative 0.2 and 1.1. I just made up an equation. You can go down, but it's a long ways down, so I just go up. So you hit RREF, and then go back in another time, and then choose your matrix. Yeah, second matrix, math, and then go up from the bottom. Yes, Jimmy. I just threw in some numbers. So then you go back in again and enter the matrix that you want to use. So you're going to perform reduced row echelon on matrix A, which basically simplifies it down. Yes, there is a way to do it, but it's nothing like this. There is an entire class in college dedicated to matrices. It's called linear algebra. And the first time I took it, I got a D. But I missed the final. I got sick and missed the final. And I'm glad that I got a D because the second time I took it, I really understood it. And it turned out to be one of my favorite classes. It's just studying matrices. And it's quite cool. So yes, you can use matrices to solve higher order equations, but it's nothing like this. It's totally different. So yeah, linear algebra is a really cool class the second time you take it. There's another class I got a D in, but I earned that D. So we'd go to class 3 hours a week, and we would write like mad for the whole hour. And the guy came in with some chalk and wrote across the board, and then when the bell rang, we left. And the next time we came in, he just wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote, and we tried to keep up. And there were 25 kids in the class, 5 math ed students and 20 math students. All of the math ed kids got a D or less, which means you have to retake it. It was impossible. He had 3 office hours per week, and I spent all 3 hours in his office trying to understand it. It was terrible. It's called theory of analysis. So you guys don't know what a proof class is, but in a proofs class, we have been using formulas and ideas for your entire math life, and we didn't really prove any of them. We just agreed that they were true. Some of them we demonstrated that, okay, yeah, they work. But in a proofs class, you build your mathematics from the ground up, and you don't do anything without either accepting it as true as an axiom or proving it as a theorem. Well, theory of analysis would be the proofs for calculus. All of the calculus theorems are proved in theory of analysis. And you actually have to take other classes before you get there, because there are other proofs that it relies on, and it is way confusing. It was so hard. I retook it and did much better. I had a much better teacher the second time. And yeah, I might have got an A the second time around. But proofs classes, in one of those classes I took a test, had 10 questions, took me 4.5 hours. Yeah, it was horrible. And then I got a D. All right. So take a look at number 59. So 59 says, approximately 2 million dry erase markers are disposed of by teachers each year. Not me. I might use a dozen. Traditional dry erase markers are toxic and non-biodegradable. EcoSmart World sells OS pens, which are dry erase markers that are recyclable, refillable, and non-toxic. The markers are available in a kit containing X OZ pens and X refill ink bottles, each a different color. One refill ink bottle can refill up to 40 pens, and one kit is equivalent to Y dry erase markers. If one kit is equivalent to 246 traditional dry erase markers. Find the number of Oz pens that are in each kit. Wow. Okay. So, let's write down what we know. So, we can buy a kit. We can buy a kit of pens, and each kit contains X Oz pens and X refill ink. So what does that mean? Same number. Whatever it is, it's the same number. So we don't know how many are in the kit, but if there are 10 pens, then there are 10 refills. That makes sense? And you might want to think of them as separate colors, right? There would be a red pen, one red pen, and one red refill, and a blue pen and one blue refill, right? So that you might have 8 different colors, and you have both the pens and the refills. Does that make sense? And every refill can fill up to 40 pens. So, and one kit is equivalent to Y dry erase markers. If one kit is equivalent to 246 dry erase markers, find the number of pens that are in each kit. So, yeah, so one kit is equivalent to 246. So 246 is equal to X plus 40X. Right, this is number of pens. This is the old pens. This one is dumb. Yeah, we're going to throw this one away. This isn't even, it's not even a linear equation. It's anyway. Yeah, I think you're right. Okay, don't do 59. 61. In a chemistry lab, Stephanie has to make a 37 milliliter solution that is 12% hydrochloric acid. All that is in each lab is 8% and 15%. How many milliliters of each solution should she use to obtain the desired mix? So we have 2 different bottles, and this is a really common type of question. One bottle contains 8% and one bottle contains 15%. And we assume we have an unlimited amount, as much as we need. Okay, what's the goal? We want to add these together in certain amounts to create a bottle that's 12%. Okay, which one are we going to add more of? So 8 is 4 units away from 12, and 15 is 3 units away from 12. So we're going to use slightly more 15, just a little bit more 15. If we were to do half and half, what would we end up with? 12 and a half. Or no, sorry, 11. No, 11 and a half. There we go. 11 and a half is halfway between 8 and 15. Okay, so we are going to add an unknown amount of 0.08, and we'll add that to an unknown amount of 0.15, and that is going to equal a known amount, 37, of 0.12. Okay, what else do we know? Equals. So these are in, this is, let's call this A and B. This is, there we go. So this would be X milliliters of A, and this would be Y milliliters of B. So I know that the amount of X I put in times 0.08 plus the amount of Y I put in times 0.15 will equal 37 milliliters at 12%. But the number of geez, look at that. No wonder you're confused. So the number of X plus the number of Y has to equal 37. Now, we don't want to use substitution or elimination here. We just want to plug it into our calculators. So go into matrix. It's a 2 by 3. And I'm just going to do 8. No, I'm not. I'm going to do 0.08. I forgot about the 37. 0.15. And then you can just type 37 times 0.12 right into the equation. No, the first column is the X column, the second column is the Y column. And then 1, 1, 37. This one? I got 4.44. But you can just type that right into the equation. Go into second matrix. Just go down until you find RREF. Did you guys get 15.8 and 21.1? Now, here's the question. Did I do it right? No guarantees. 8.1. Number, what is this? 61. Hey, we got it. So you would say, how much of this did we use? 15.8 milliliters of 8%. And then we used 21.1 milliliters of 15%, which is what we thought, right? We'll use a little bit more 15 than 8. So it would be 15.8 milliliters of this, and then 21.1 milliliters of this. Yeah, they're not too bad. Once you kind of get the hang of it. All right, so let me help you get some more of the 782. I lost my place. All right, 63. Upon graduation with a degree in Management of Information Systems, you decide to work for a company that buys data from states' departments of motor vehicles and sells to banks and car dealerships customized reports detailing how many cars at each dealership are financed through particular banks. Yes, this sort of stuff happens. People are selling your information all the time. You know those free apps you download? And they want things like access to your contacts and your email, and yeah, they gather data on you and then sell it. They sell it to database companies that can look into it and decide, oh, we're not selling, we don't stock enough cars in this area, or we need fewer high-heeled shoes here and more tennis shoes. And yeah, they gather huge amounts of data through your cell phones, and they use it to make market decisions. Oh yeah. Yeah, that sort of stuff happens all the time. Yep, they're in your head. All right, so AutoCount Corporation offers you a $15,000 base salary and 10% commission on your total annual sales. Polk Corporation offers you a base salary of $30,000 plus a 5% commission on your total sales. How many total sales would you have to make per year to earn more money at AutoCount? So what do we not know? So we don't know the total annual sales. Why can't I say that today? Yeah, so in this case, you have y equals, the first one is 0.1x plus 15,000, and the second one is 0.05x plus 30,000. So you could graph those, but you'll have to change your window. How would I put this in? What do I need to do in order to put it in my matrix? Move the x's over here and make them negative. So, yeah, you can, but it has to be set up x, y answer. So negative point. Well, but that gives you the balance point, right? That will give you the point where it switches. So which one is better? Before we answer this, which one's better? Well, at first, this is a better option. But if you sell enough items, then the other one's going to be a better option. So we're looking for the point at which it switches. Okay, so I'll let you solve that. Look at 65. A Honda Accord gets approximately 26 miles per gallon on the highway and 19 in the city. You drove 349 miles on a full tank. Approximately how many miles did you drive in the city and how many on the highway? So let's say X is, which one did it say first? Highway? Highway, and Y is city. So X plus Y is going to equal so we need to, so X is going to be what? What exactly is X? The miles driven on the highway. Okay? So the number of miles driven on the highway plus the number of miles driven in the city should equal 349.5. Okay. Now, how are we going to do the gallons? We know the gallons are going to equal 16. Well, how do you calculate, how do miles and miles per gallon, you have to divide them. So it would be X over 26, right? No, the number of miles you drove on the highway divided by 26 will tell you how many gallons you used. Correct? Right? If you drive 26 miles, how many gallons will you have used? 1. If you drove 52 miles, how many gallons would you use? 2. So we have to divide it. Right? The number of miles you drove divided by the gas mileage will tell you how many gallons you used. And then plus y divided by 19, and then you can set that up in a matrix. You would just put 349.5, and then what would you put for the second line? 1 over 26 plus, and then 1 over 19, and then 16. All right. What time do we get out of here? 10:45. So we'll stop there.